Hey guys, it's Ivan from Indoor Ivan. Welcome back. Today's video I have decided to do a little tour of all of the plants that I have. As some of you know, I am no longer at my condo. I had like the most ideal south-facing window for all of my plants, which was great because anything that needed full sun was right up against the window and anything that didn't was kind of further back. The living situation for my plants is just a little bit different now. My south-facing windows are more at a premium, so I really do have to strategize what plants get that window and figuring out places for my other plants, especially during the winter. So with that said, let's begin our tour. Okay, first off, we're going to start off in the basement, so let's go. Alright, so we are currently in the basement. I had to turn off the grow light just because it was a little too purple. These are where I'm keeping all of my larger tropical trees for the time being until it's warm enough to put them back outside again. They don't get a whole lot of light without the grow lights. There's just a little tiny sliver of a window. So far they're doing okay. Some of the ficuses have lost some leaves, but let's take a look at what we have. Alright, so looking at my plants, it is like a little small section of plants that I put down in the basement. I used just two kind of clothing racks that I put together for my grow lights, and then all of my plants are kind of just shoved under the lights. So in here I do have all of my ficuses. So right here I have one of my ficus. I think this one is my Amstel King. It's doing quite well. It's probably one of my taller ficuses. I really do like the wider leaves that you can see there. Let's see. Over here I have my variegated Ficus Benjamina. It is quite tall. When I got it, it was very small, but it's grown up quite a bit, as you can see. All of the leaves are kind of tangled in together because I don't have that much space for all of my plants, but it's there. Back in here I have another ficus. I can't remember the name of this one. I wrote it down somewhere. It is a variegated type, but it's not like as white and green as this one is here. But you get some of the lighter green variegation with the darker green, which is really cool. Not as common, at least I can't seem to find it in the shops as much. That one is also quite tall. All of my ficuses I've had for quite a while now, so they have grown quite a bit. In here I have my string of tears. Sorry, it's not focusing very well. My string of tears, which is right there. It's gotten quite long over the summer. Sadly, I kind of neglected it over the summer, so the top of my plant is a little bit bare, as you can see there. And then further back, I have my string of hearts. Same thing, I kind of neglected it over the summer. I didn't water it as much as I should have, and it just kind of shriveled up at the top. So if we keep moving, this is my regular Ficus Benjamina. This is probably one of my oldest plants that I have. It's probably close to around my height, around like close to 6 feet tall now. It's lost a lot of leaves, sadly, over the kind of transitions that it went through. But it's done quite well for me. It's the only one out of my ficuses that's in a gritty mix, just because I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't get too tall. So I'm kind of doing a lot of root pruning with it. Over here I have my money tree. It's been doing quite well this past growing season. I did prune it back quite a bit. As you can see here, that was a prune, and I think further down you can see another prune. So I've had this for quite a while, and it kind of just kicks around and pushes a lot of new growth back up. Over here is my Norfolk Pine. I got this from Walmart last Christmas. It's doing quite well. You can still see kind of the glitter that was left on it. It was on clearance for $8, so I just had to grab it. And it's been doing quite well, quite tall as well. Oh, and there's Mimi. Mimi, say hi. Okay. Let's see. Further back, I just have my Ficus Audrey. So this is just the regular one with the really narrow leaves. It was struggling in the condo last year, and it actually recovered quite a bit over the summer. It's kind of intermingled in there. You can kind of see it. Just a lot of green foliage. And then over here, this is my Ric Rac Cactus. It suffered quite a bit. You can see all of the sunburns that it had. I put it out in what I thought was a shaded spot, and it wasn't, so a lot of the leaves ended up burning, as you can see there. But it has pushed out a lot of new leaves and growth, which is great. So I'm hoping that the new leaves will cover up all those sunburns and damage that happened this summer. And then if we turn over here on my ledge, I do have a couple plants. So this is a south-facing window. Unfortunately, it's kind of blocked, as you can see, by the little deck that's outside. So it doesn't get a whole lot of direct sun. But here is one of my Oncidium orchids that's growing there. That's an old flower stalk. It kind of just died out, but I've left it there. So you can kind of see the pseudobulbs. It needs some watering at some point. That one flowers kind of a purple. Over here, the sun is off. So this is a curly orchid cactus. I think it's Curly Sue is the common name. I decided to pick it up just because it was kind of unique. These are kind of all twisty and curly, and then I believe this is a seed pod. When I bought it, the seed pod was on it. It was kind of cool how it looks. Over here we have a Phalaenopsis orchid. This was a plant that someone gave me. It wasn't doing so well for them, so it entered my home, and it's doing quite well. It did flower once, so I'm hoping it likes its spot here. This is just your regular African violet. It flowers purple. Right now it's not doing a whole lot. And then over here I have another Phalaenopsis orchid. This one flowers white. The last season's flowers finished, so I just ended up cutting it there. So yeah, that's my basement. So we will now move upstairs and see what's up there. So let's go. Mimi, do you want to come along? Mimi? No? Okay. All right, let's go. So right now we are back upstairs to the main level. Right now I'm in the living room. The living room doesn't get a whole lot of light just because these windows face north and east. And then also the roof kind of overhangs, so I lose a lot of light that way. So I don't have a whole lot of plants that grow on the main floor, just a lot of Sansevieria and a peace lily to keep things somewhat green. So I'll show you those. So starting in the living room, I do have a lot of Sansevieria or snake plants that are kind of just placed all over the floor in the living room. So I do have one here. This one's kind of small. It's not very tall, but it does look very pretty. I think this one is black coral. So it just kind of sits kind of close to this one. Oh boy, what window is that? That is northwest. So there is some light that comes in. Right now this sun is starting to set, so we're getting some sun on a slant for that snake plant there. Over on the table, I cut some of my Monstera Addisonii, and I just kind of left it there by the welcome decoration. So as we move along in the living room, I have another snake plant here. This one, oh boy, I can't remember the name of this one. This one I just got. I think it was only $20, so I just had to grab it. It's my tallest of the snake plants. So it also just sits in a somewhat darker area. And then over here, I got another snake plant that just sits there. So it kind of fills the space. So as you can see, not a whole lot of plants in my living room, just enough to keep it green. Let's see, where else? In our washroom, so this window is a north-facing window. It barely gets any light, but I do have one plant. Oh, there we go. So this one is Moonshine. It has been doing quite well, even though it hasn't been getting a whole lot of light. So it kind of just sits there, a bit neglected, but still doing okay. Back out here again. Oh, there's Mimi. Hi, Mimi. You don't want to say hi? Okay. Over here, this is my variegated peace lily domino. It's done flowering right now, but I really do like the leaves. It looks very pretty, and I just had to get it. Moving into the kitchen, this is where I put my fiddle leaf fig, or Ficus lyrata. It's grown quite a bit. When I got it, it was probably just a foot tall, but it's grown quite a bit, and it's only lost a couple leaves. And so far it's doing okay. So if you take a look, this is our south-facing door. So we do get some sunlight that comes in. It is quite a distance. It's probably, I would say probably 12 feet away from the window. So it doesn't get a whole lot of direct sunlight, but I'm hoping it's enough to survive the winter. Continuing on, this is my pilea. It's been doing pretty well. It's been getting more light than obviously my ficus is, and it's actually really close to an air vent. So overall, it's doing quite well. I actually thought it would have done a lot worse, but it's putting out new leaves and it looks decent. So continuing into the kitchen, this is a fake plant. It's actually not real, but it looks pretty. Over here, I have my really sad looking oxalis. I think that's how you say it. It's only have 2 leaves left, because I keep forgetting to water it and then it dries out and all the leaves fall off. And if you keep going up higher, I have my wandering Jew that kind of just trails down to fill up that space. And then on the other side, I have this plant here, which is very pretty. Moses in a boat, or Moses in a cradle, I believe is its common name. I got that from a teaching friend or colleague a few years ago, and it's done quite well. It just is very long at this point. But overall, looks very pretty. Over here, I have my pothos. This is, I believe, Mandrula. Yeah. It's doing quite well, and there's my Google Home. So that's it for the kitchen. All right, so right now we are at the top of the stairs on the second floor. There's only one plant that actually is up here because it is quite dark. There's only one window, so you can kind of see the window right up there. That window is, west facing. But overall, this little hallway is dark, so there's not a whole lot going on. So as you can see, I just put my ZZ plant there because it's one of the few plants that seems to do decently there. But we'll continue into the rooms and I'll show you more plants. A lot of the plants upstairs, I do have grow lights on just because I do need more sunlight, so there's a lot of supplemental lighting. So with that said, let's go into a room. Okay, let's go. Oh, hi Mimi. You joining us for the tour? Okay, so over here by the nightstand, I have a sad looking cutting of my Moses in a boat. Can you see it kind of really stretched out? Not getting a whole lot of light over here. But I have my Staghorn Fern. I only put it here last week, so it seems to be doing okay. I don't know if it's going to stay here for the entire winter, but as of right now, that's kind of its little home, and it's doing quite well on its little driftwood. Yeah. So let's keep moving. Over here, this is kind of a dark corner between two windows. Again, that window there is north, and then that one is west. So in that corner, there's not a whole lot of light. So the spider plant is struggling a little bit, but it's doing okay. Over here, I have my little grow light, or grow cabinet, I guess you could say. So I do have a lot of plants in here. Some people have asked kind of what lights I use and what stand I've used to create my plant stands and stuff. I'll probably make a video about it later, but for now we'll just take a look at the plants. So in here, oh boy, if you can see, back over here, that is another snake plant that I have. I think it's the starfish one. It's grown very long. It's actually, I had to take out this glass panel because it started to get really hot inside the cabinet, and then that leaf has just stuck out. Over here, I can't remember what this is called, but I picked this up from a local college greenhouse, and it's been doing okay. Same thing with this one. I can't remember what this one's called either. It's kind of gotten really bare in the middle. I'm hoping that it will grow back up and fill up again, but we'll see. Over here, I think this is a gastra or something. I can't remember. This also came from a local college greenhouse, and it's been doing quite well. And then in the back, I have my silver dollar vine. It kind of just is there. It grows so slow, but it's there. On the lower shelf, I have, this is back here, if you can see. That is my variegated whale fin. I don't know if it's reverted back again. It kind of struggled with some rot, but the new leaves coming out aren't variegated, so I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen with that. Over here, another snake plant. I think Samurai Dwarf is the name of that one. It's growing slowly. And then over here, I have a desert rose. Sadly, I put this outside over the summer, and as you can see, this is awful. Squirrels did this. So once I saw that, I had to bring it back inside. So it's really sad. This is, I can't remember what this one's called. Do I have the plant label on it? Oh yeah, there it is. That's what that one's called. The greenhouse was closing where I got this plant, so all the plants were like 50% off, so I picked that up. And then this over here, again, look, that's what happens when you put your plants outside. Animal damage. This is an orchid cactus of some variety. I got this from a plant share group, and it's just kind of slowly growing over the past year or so. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the flowers look. So that is my little plant stand, or plant cabinet, I guess I should say, in one of our spare bedrooms. So we'll close that up. There. Okay. So on to the next room. All right. So right now we are in the office, which has my computer and work stuff, but also most of my plants. Sadly, this window is north facing, so I do have a lot of grow lights, and it does get quite hot in here. But this is where most of my plants are, if they're not in the basement or in that cabinet. So we'll take a look. So right here, I have my Monstera addisonii. I did prune it a little bit because it was getting very long, so you can see there's not a whole lot of strands left. But it seems to be liking its spot. It does get the light from the grow light, So that helps quite a bit. And apparently it's humid enough that it really wants to grow aerial roots. So I don't know if you can see that aerial root right there. It's getting quite long. Let's see. Back in here, oh boy, you can kind of see I have another Staghorn Fern back there. That one is mounted. I think it was an art panel, so that's back there. I have a ZZ plant over there that I got. It was part of my latest plant mail from Thailand. Let's see, over there, there's a Hoya, oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it, but it's there. I'll try and tag all of these plants for you. Back over here, this was, oh boy, it's squishy. So there is another Oncidium Orchid back over here, as you can see. It was on clearance for $10, so I actually don't know what variety it is, but that's there. I have another Hoya. I think that one is Hoya. Oh, I can't remember. Again, I'll post some names up later. Over here, I have my variegated Monstera deliciosa. It, for some reason, isn't growing so well. It's been stuck at 2 leaves for over half a year now. But it's there. Over here, I have, right there, it's quite long. Woo! This is an African milk tree, I believe. I can't remember, but I think that's what it is. And over here, the tall plant that seems to be blocking absolutely everything is an orchid cactus. Not sure of its variety or flower, but I got this as one of the local greenhouses was closing down. So yeah, continuing on, I have a lot of ant plants. So you can kind of see the little kind of caudex there. So there's ant plants. There's my gigantic jade. It is pretty big. So that's there. I have more ant plants back in there. Over here, this is my variegated syngonium that I got. It's doing all right, and it has some aerial roots, which is great. Up here, this is my Madagascar Palm, and it has little babies. Sadly, some of the leaves are yellowing now that it's getting colder, but that's okay. Back in there is my string of dolphins, and you can kind of see my, oh, I don't think you can see it. There you go. That is my ZZ Raven. It only has 1 leaf. I'm hoping it grows more. This plant I got last year from a plant share group. The name doesn't come to mind at the moment, but it's been doing quite well. And then more Hoyas. So there's a Hoya in a hanging basket, and then there's a little flower there. This is my Hoya Carey. It's getting quite long. All right, down here, this is my soon-to-be sad Monstera deliciosa, but it kind of just hangs on there. I have another Oncidium Orchid. It really needs to be repotted, as you can see. That one flowers yellow. Back there, more snake plants. I tend to have so many snake plants. And if you follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen those little seed pods, which is pretty cool. That one over there is, for some reason, orange now, but we'll see what happens. I have a plumeria that kind of just sits in there. And then over here, my Ficus Audrey. That is too tall, so it kind of just is on the edge. If we go over here, more ant plants. I have a ton of ant plants, so they're kind of just everywhere. I have my, oops, get out of the way. I have my string of hearts over there. The Addisonii, I think, is wanting to slowly root itself into that pot. Let's see. I have a Schefflera over there. That one was just a gift. So it kind of just keeps on growing. Let's see. Further back, which is really hard to see and reach. Let's see. I have some Wandering Jews back there. Those actually are all cuttings because I couldn't take the original plant in. And then there's one back there as well, if you can see. So many plants. Back over here, you can kind of see that's my Variegated ZZ plant. It kind of just hangs in there. It hasn't been doing a whole lot of growing, but it hasn't been dying, so that's good. And then back over there, oh, if you can see, which is kind of tricky, there's my own little Tetrasperma cuttings. They're not doing great, but they survived their little trip from Japan. And then finally, oh dear, down here I have another Oncidium Orchid. I have quite a few, my goodness, whale fins that I decided to try and do some propagating. That one over there looks really sad. It's kind of yellow. The other ones seem to be doing okay. I haven't seen any growth come out of them yet, so we'll see what happens. Over here, this, my goodness, it's blocking the way. This is my Monstera SP Peru. If you look further in there, I have another Hoya carrii. Let's see, you can kind of see it there. That's the variegated one. Actually, let's go this way. You can see there's another one in there. That one is Splash. What else is there? I have another Hoya there as well. I can't remember the name of that one. It is very upright. And then back in there, that was just a cutting that I got from a friend. So that's kind of just growing there. But yeah, that is this little section. All right, well that's it for my little plant tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will have to do another one, I guess, again later once it's spring again, and all the plants go back outside. But yeah, until next time, see you later. Bye. Hi, Mimi. Want to say hi now? Say hi. No?